So this is going crazy right now. I'm not really a TikTok fan. TikTok has actually been my least favorite platform because they've censored me like crazy. Like I would say 1 every 10 videos of mine gets literally censored and muted because of the nature of the things that I talk about. But nevertheless, a lot of people are really concerned about what's happening right now because TikTok has been shut down in the United States. People are not able, creators and influencers are not able to make the money that they were making before. This was their full-time job. Now, all of a sudden, they're scrambling. But could the TikTok ban actually be reversed quicker than we think now that President Trump is in office? Anderson, I'm going to invite you back on. This is something that you are particularly versed in. Give us a little bit of background of what's going on with the TikTok ban. Why was this thing suddenly banned right before Trump got inaugurated?
Yeah, so I'll break it down very simplistically. I'm the type of guy that likes at least 3 things so I understand what's happening. So the Supreme Court did a ruling on essentially protecting Americans from foreign adversaries. The act is called the PAFACA. All you need to know is that we're getting protected from foreign nations. And one of the mandates is because TikTok, the parent company of TikTok, is ByteDance, which is a Chinese company. You guys have probably seen it. Joe Rogan did a piece on this where the terms of service of TikTok are very robust. But on top of that, they have the ability to listen to your conversations, to listen to what you're doing, even if the phone is off. There's a bunch of different things in there. I don't know if they have fixed it or they have updated their terms, but the ruling was that they had until January 18th in order for them to have at least 50% interest of TikTok bought by an American company, so we wouldn't have this issue on TikTok being owned fully by a Chinese company. They failed to do so, and then they got essentially shut down on the 18th, which was Sunday. Sunday night going into, or Saturday night going into Sunday. So they had until Sunday to get it done. They couldn't get it done. Trump said in one of the statements on Truth Social, pretty much, you have 90 days in order for you to get this resolved, or you're out again. I think he's working through it. We know that Trump just went into TikTok. He had a ton of visibility. Dana White invited him in, and he's done a few shorts and a few different things on TikTok, but nothing major. The president of TikTok in the United States also pledged to work with the administration to get that done. So my guess is somewhere within the next 90 days, we're going to see TikTok being acquired, or at least a big chunk of it, 50% or more, by an American company, an American investor. So we wouldn't have that issue of them being fully owned by the Chinese company. And now we have similar things in common, essentially not giving your information, because I don't have TikTok, giving your information to the Chinese Communist Party. So in a nutshell, we shall see in the next 90 days. They were shut down for a few hours. I believe it was somewhere around 12 hours. They're back on. You still have your TikTok, but my guess, if this doesn't go through in the next 90 days, TikTok will be gone forever in the United States, at least until a company invests 50% or more.
That is crazy. I want to speak to business owners right now and people that are actually in the space of content creation. This is why, if you've ever heard the phrase in like diversifying your investments. So for me as a content creator, I'll just speak very plainly into this as a content creator. So like the idea of diversifying your investments is don't have all of your eggs in one basket, right? So if you are a content creator that's big on TikTok, or big on one platform, all it takes is for that platform to be shut down, and all of a sudden there goes your influence, there goes your livelihood, etc. And for me, that's a hard lesson that I had to learn because of getting kicked off of Instagram. I got kicked off of Instagram twice in 2023, and that exposed like, oh my gosh, like my operation is not immune to the people who are creating these platforms. So if you are a business owner, my encouragement to you is to not rely on one platform alone for getting your message out to people. If you're a minister, I want to talk to the ministers, the preachers, the pastors. If you're like, man, we really go hard on Instagram and preaching the gospel, that's our biggest account, I would tell you, you got to spread out. You got to get yourself onto different platforms to share the gospel. You got to start building your YouTube channel. You got to start building the podcast. And probably the most important thing is building the email list, building an email list. But the security interest is really interesting, Anderson, because I don't know, man. Like for me in these days, it's like there's such an illusion of privacy as it is. And so it's like, oh man, like I'm just thinking of we give away so much data to all of these companies every single day. But when it comes to communist China, when a third of Americans, I think the number is like over 100 million Americans have an active TikTok account. And when you have 100 million Americans that are giving the access for their photos, their contacts, important passwords, bank accounts, social security numbers, all that sort of stuff that's on your phone. And then because you have the contacts attached to it, now they have access to all the information in the contacts for the people on your phone. It's a major security issue. So I think it's a good, ultimately, I think the TikTok ban, it was only a matter of time. So, but I feel bad for the people that are going to be directly affected by it.
I'd like to give you one minute or 30-second story that the information that you have out there is probably worse than you think. So I was consulting a particular company, and this company was in Israel. I won't give it the name, but essentially they were trying to get acquired. And the technology of the company, Kap, check this out, had the ability to track you on everything that you were doing in order for them to have the ability to advertise and promote certain products. So it created essentially a geolocation AI methodology of tracking every step where you are in order for them to promote a particular product. I'll give you an example. You're driving, you take an exit, and your phone is listening to saying, man, I'm a little tired. The immediate assumption is that you need coffee. Now, and then there's a coffee shop a mile away from that exit. You would get essentially bombarded with some ads that are coffee promoting Starbucks. It's just one of the examples. So you think it's just them listening to you. They're watching every step of the way, where you're exiting, where you're shopping, what you're saying, because then you're being bombarded with ads that amplify that particular voice. That's just on the commerce portion.
Right.
Imagine on the conversations that you're having with your spouse, with your family. So you think it's you think it's bad with TikTok? Imagine all the other apps that anytime that you download, you say, yes, I want to participate, or yes, you can track my data. That's exactly what's happening, and it's worse than what we imagine.
So practically, my encouragement to you guys is to set up some privacy precautions. One of the things you can do, and we're not sponsored by them, so I won't give you the affiliate link, but you should get a VPN. I would encourage you to consider getting a VPN for your computer, for your devices, that allows your when you're using these devices, basically you're operating through a different IP address. You can kind of have it run through different countries, and that increases your privacy. I would also encourage you, password protection. I use an app called 1Password, and it's great because it has all of my passwords in it, and it generates really highly secure passwords. So that's one thing too that I would encourage you is, like, don't use the same password for every single thing, every device, every app. That's how you get hacked. That's how you lose. I know people who have lost a lot of money with fraud, and that's one of the ways that people will access that sort of stuff. I would also encourage you, like to what Anderson's saying, when you have a social media profile, a social media account, and it asks for full access to your photos or anything that you don't want it to have full, because full access means full access. Like it can go through and grab the data to all of it. Give it limited access. Don't give it full access. Give it limited access. Yeah, it might make like a little inconvenient, but I would encourage you, value your privacy more more than you have in this next chapter of human history. Because here's what's interesting too. I think of the Bible verse where Jesus says that everything that is hidden, everything that is spoken in secret will be shouted from the rooftops, which should put a fear of the Lord in all of us. So live righteously and behind closed doors. Have a fear of the Lord, because at the end of the day, nothing's going to be hidden for long. Hey, if you enjoyed this clip and you want to see another one like it, you can click the video over here. And if you want to watch a full episode of the Kap Chatfield Show, you can click this one right here.